Huh?
Welcome to the Indie Corner, where we talk about all things independent comics. I'm Rebecca,
And I'm Mikey.
and today, people, we are switching it up for more than meets the eye, and we are covering Mikey's most anticipated series of this series, which is the Drift Empire of Stone miniseries, as well as tacking on part of the Transformers Holiday Special. But we're going to start with the main event here, the Drift series.
I've been waiting for this day. I'm so happy that we're doing this. Oh Lord, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much for letting me do this book.
It's 4 issues. It's not that much of a detour.
I
So
don't
you
care.
want to just hop right into it?
Yep. All right, so here we are.
All right. So, this, like I said, this is a 4-issue miniseries. It's written by Shane McCarthy and the arts by Guido Guidi.
Guido Guidi. Yeah, I guess.
That's what it looks
nice,
like.
Great cover though. I love this cover so much. Love it so much. It's the background for this episode.
He's gonna say he loves the art so much for every single panel that has Drift on it.
I really am. Okay, I'm excited.
All right. So let's get into it. We open this book with a couple of aliens running from explosions when Drift comes trashing into the scene. Turns out that since he was kicked off the Lost Light, he's been wandering around the outer edges of the galaxy, beating up rogue Decepticons and generally just being a badass.
So cool.
Feel free to stop me anytime if you have anything to say, by the way, Mikey.
Okay, no problem.
So as he apprehends this latest group of rogues, he reflects on how these aliens are the types of people he wants to fight for, victims of a war they never wanted any part of. Later, Drift arrives at a Galactic Council outpost with his Decepticon prisoners in tow, ready to turn them over to the space police. The Decepticons protest this since Cybertronians are supposed to handle their own kind, and as a surprise we get a surprise visitor, Ratchet, who seems to agree with this.
Question. I had a question because it stumped me when I was reading it. Did they establish why you don't bring in like Cybertronians into the Galactic Council?
It's just because everyone fucking hates Transformers in this universe.
Okay, no, that's fair.
It's like we're just gonna deal with our own shit, you know?
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So Ratchet exposits how he came looking to bring Drift back to the Lost Light and how the crew now all know that he took the fall for the Overlord incident. However, Drift argues that he's not going back, at least until he rids this part of space of every rogue Decepticon. Just then, one of Drift's prisoners interjects that there's tons of Decepticons out here. Ratchet tries to use the return to Cybertron as a bargaining chip for more information, but the guy says he's no rat. Unfortunately for him, though, his cellmates are.
I died, dude. I'm like they folded immediately because like we'd rather go back home than go to the Galactic Council, please. They seem like fucking canaries. It's so funny.
It's a good comedic moment. So with the prisoners still aboard, Drift and Ratchet decide to go to a seemingly quiet planet they got from their intel with the intention of just scouting it out when their ship starts to malfunction. They end up crash landing, but the two of them plus the non-rat Decepticon manages to make it out of the wreckage, only to be greeted with more Decepticon fire. Drift and Ratchet are able to take cover, but the escaped Decepticon isn't so lucky, being harassed and threatened by his own side for being on board an Autobot ship, even as a prisoner. Drift can't just stand by and watch as they prepare to execute this man, and Drift leaps into action despite Ratchet's protests.
Here's the thing, right? I like how like a common pattern with this theme in this book is how dumb Drift is in terms of his decision making. And when I read this, I was like, yo, like, what are you doing? He's a Decepticon. Just let him die, bro. Even though I respect the moral code, I respect the code of Bushido and all that bullshit, but like, let this man die to save yourself. But then, nah, he saves him. But I'm happy that he saves him because I love this character that we don't know the name of yet.
If you didn't save him, you wouldn't get to see him do like cool flips and shit.
Exactly, yeah.
So our duo is able to get some punches in and whatnot, but ultimately the two are outnumbered and overpowered as even more bads show up. Now captured, the crash survivors are taken to a weird stone building cut into a mountain. Inside, an over-designed monstrosity sits on a throne, and calling Drift by his old bad guy name says that now that he's here, they can tear the system apart together. And that's the end of issue 1. So what do we think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was good. It was fun. I mean, especially because I think the highlight of it is just the banter and like the relationship between Ratchet and Drift. I think it's so fun. It's very like I don't know what to compare it to. I think like maybe
it's very buddy cop,
very
like
buddy cop,
like,
and very like
I would call Drift like the jokester, but like I guess less serious in a way.
It's no, honestly, it's like it's kind of like I guess Lethal Weapon or like 48 Hours. Like it's kind of that kind of vibe where it's like yeah, like
either of those movies.
it's fine. The audience will hopefully will know, but like
yeah, bully me in the comments.
Yeah, so like yeah, well like 48 like so like I want to say it's more 48 Hours. So like Drift is more the Eddie Murphy character, while Ratchet is more like the Nick Nolte character who's all serious and shit and like can't deal with fucking Eddie Murphy's nonsense, which is Drift. So I like that relationship a lot. Also the fact that I think I just find it so like funny that there's just a temple carved out of rock that like Drift just supposedly knows about because he's the Japanese based one.
See, of course, the Asian coded one knows about the temples. Come on,
exactly. I'm just like, come on, guys, like, come on, like a temple made of rock. Really, it's whatever.
Yeah, what is it? The Mummy 3 where they have like the stone army.
Yeah, the two. Yeah, no, listen. That would be low-key slaps. I'm not gonna front. But yeah, they have the terracotta warrior soldiers. Yeah, honestly, who wrote this again?
Shane McCarthy, I think.
Yeah, I could imagine he probably watched Mummy 3 before writing this. It's like I could use that for Drift. But yeah, that I think is really cool. The Decepticon the Decepticons in jail scene was so funny. Like I was generally chuckling because he's just like, "Oh, we're Decepticons. We're not gonna snitch," and they immediately rat. It's hilarious. And then lastly, this what's it called? Beast Wars clusterfuck of a Decepticon here, who will know the name of later. I'm just like, that is a very overly done design. Like I'm just like, wow, that like my eyes hurt looking at him a lot. When I read this book, I was like, wow. But
yeah.
Very Transformers Armada, very Transformers Energon, in my opinion.
Yeah, I Googled it. This guy's from like one of the 2000s anime things.
Oh, okay. So he's like, okay, that makes sense because
I don't think he was Armada, but he was like one of those. You know?
Okay, we'll just say he's Energon for now, but it makes sense because a lot of those character designs in those that in like our we were like young. That was our era of Transformers, I guess. But like they were very overdone, and it makes sense why I immediately thought of those shows when I saw his character. I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah. I don't hate it, but it's like a lot.
Like he looks like a Megazord. Like he looks like
something he does look super like
Power Rangers like would use. I'm just like, wow, okay. But yeah, this issue was a fun start. I really liked it.
Yeah. So with that said, let's hop into the next one then. So issue 2. I really like the colors on this cover.
It's cool. I mean, it's simple. But I mean, it's really definitely the colors are the best part.
To be fair, all the covers in the series are just basically Drift standing there.
That's true. They're pretty simple, but I thought this was a cool cover, especially like the way it's drawn. It's very anime, which again is I guess suits
to be expected, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So we start with a brief flashback to Drift's villain days, where he crash landed on this planet with no way off and no way to communicate, as he spots the same structure we saw last issue.
I love his design. I think it's cool. Like it's cool. Like I was reading, I was like, I like it. Like it's just Drift as a Decepticon. Like this
Drift if he was edgy.
Drift if he was edgy. I mean, listen, I like how that we've seen. You know, we saw Drift as Drift being awesome and cool, and Drift as like a crackhead. And then now we see Drift as Decepticons. Like, okay, yeah, we're seeing Drift at his lowest, and it's funny. So I like it.
Yeah. So Cut to the present. The big bad, who we learn is named Gigatron, exposits that he needs an army to take over the galaxy or whatever, and Drift supposedly knows where he can find this massive army of stone soldiers around these parts. Of course, Drift refuses initially to help him until he starts to threaten Ratchet.
I'm going to say this right now, Rebecca, just before you even move on to the next slide. Can we make a list of how many fucking Trons we've come across throughout this entirety of this show? Like, there are too many of them.
If you're going to have a villain, they have to have their name in Tron. That's just the rule.
Okay, all right. Well, whatever you say. It's been stupid.
All right, so Gigatron agrees to let Ratchet and the Decepticon they got hanging around with them named Grit go. Grit. However, okay, I did read that right. I just never mind. However, Gigatron's advisor, stupidly named Hellbat, calls Grit a traitor and says he doesn't deserve to be called a Decepticon, which causes a fight to break out. That's another thing too. There's a lot of fighting in the. There's a lot of action in
There's
these.
Really good action in these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the trio tries to escape, but are cut off by Gigatron and some falling rubble and thrown in a cell. While imprisoned, Drift says it doesn't make any sense that Gigatron hasn't found his army yet, since it should be in the same building that they're in right now. Additionally, Ratchet comes up with an escape plan that involves Drift playing dead and then knocking out the guard. But the guard immediately sees through this, least of all because Drift's idea of playing dead is just lying face down on the ground. However, the guard still decides to free everyone because he's bros with Grit, and this Decepticon cult's getting a little too nutty for him.
Again, simple comedy here, where it's just like, oh yeah, no, I already know this dude, and I'm ready. These fuckers are crazy. I don't know why the fuck I joined this place in the first place. I thought that was so funny, and like. Drift just laying dead, just like him trying to play.
I love the panel of him just on the ground, like pretending to be dead. It's so funny.
Like, it's literally like, and I don't remember what's said in the panel, but like the guy's like, "You're not dead." And he's literally just sitting there, like, "Yes, I am."
Yeah, if you read the panel right here, it's looking at him. He's fine. He's like, "You don't know."
It's hilarious, bro.
So once again, the trio escapes with Grit taking off to get his revenge on Hellbat. Ratchet says him and Drift should find a ship and get out of there, but Drift wants to stay back and stop the bads from getting their hands on the army. After some quick arguing and fighting off goons, the two agree that if they're going to stop the bad guys, they're going to do it together. A bit later, the duo find a totally not suspicious-looking door. And inside, they find the army with some of the stone soldiers hooked up to some sci-fi junk. But before they can investigate, they get cornered by Hellbat and his goons, and that's the end of issue 2.
I want to say this off just real quick, just to start off. Hellbat is such a dingus, bro. I hate like whoever designed. Like, is he also like canon in like the?
I feel like this is another Anna Vane dude, but I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. What a dumb name. What a dumb design. It doesn't even turn to a bat. I'll pause right now. I'm not even going to say this. I'm gonna say this just for people who just expect to see a transformation scene of him turning into a bat. He doesn't even turn into a bat in this. All right, that's strike one. But yeah, no, I think this issue was cool. It was cool. I think the banter between Gigatron and Drift is interesting. I feel like where like Gigatron is refuses to believe that Drift has changed, and because he's just like, if you're a Decepticon, you're a Decepticon for life. Like, come on, let's just destroy shit. And Drift's like, nah, B, I'm good. I'm doing my own thing now and all that stuff. Like, I just love the fact like Gigatron just doesn't care. He's like, nah, you're let's just work for me. Let's do this shit.
He's such like a comically evil villain, but like I think it works in this.
It does. Like it's very campy, and then it's fun. Also, Grit as a character I think is very funny, just because like he self-identifies as just like an idiot that can't change. So, because like he literally like the thing he says, I think, where he's like, when Ratchet and Drift are trying to like leave to like find this place so they can this army so they can destroy it and escape, Drift is like, I'm going to kill Hellbat. Why? Because he pissed me off. But like, Why though? Like, I don't make smart decisions. It's not my thing. Just let me do this, guys, please. Like, I think it's so. I thought that was so funny. And just like kind of I mean that's gonna change. I mean that motif is gonna last until like the end. I think it pays off in a pretty good way. But yeah, no, I thought this intro to Grit and also Grit just like knowing the homies is just kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I like him as like the third like personality to like Drift and Ratchet. I think it's like a fun contrast, I guess.
It is a fun contrast because like he doesn't want to be there, and every time they accuse him of being a traitor, they're just like, I'm not with these. They kidnapped me. They took me prisoner.
I don't associate with them.
Exactly. Like it's very funny. That's like he just doesn't want to be there. But yeah, I thought this issue was pretty fun. Was pretty good as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I think this issue has a lot, and the next issue too have a lot of like fun fight scenes. I didn't include them that much because that's just like throwing a picture up there. There's not really too much to talk about there than people slashing each other, you know.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like. I texted you about this, but like, yeah, I like this series so far more than we said because it's less words and more fights,
more pictures,
more pictures.
Yeah. So let's move on to issue 3 then. Again, just people standing around for the cover.
Cool cover though. That's cover's so good.
It's good art.
Yeah.
All right. So picking up from the last issue, if you haven't figured it out by now, Hellbat is Starscreaming his Megatron, trying to use the army for himself to kill everything and everyone because he's a crazy nihilist. Additionally, since back in the day, Drift killed all the monks who could control the army at the temple, Hellbat's been killing people and using them for spare parts as a way to take control of the warriors. Suddenly, before the evil monologuing can stop, Grit blows up the door from earlier, inadvertently rescuing our heroes and giving them a chance to fight back in the chaos. So we get a good couple pages of fight scenes, and in the midst of this, Grit is pushed over the edge of some high wall, causing him to plummet. Drift runs after him, using some ninja moves to catch him, and with the help of Ratchet, stops him from falling to his death.
Not ninja moves. This man's been fucking playing Prince of Persia and shit, wall running him up and like bouncing off walls and shit. I loved it. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. Again, I don't have all the panels. If you read it, it's a really cool art sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So the three manage to pull themselves to safety. However, they're too late to stop Hellbat from waking up his army. Out of time and options, Drift realizes they won't be able to get reinforcements before one of the bad guys sics their army on the universe. Drift decides to take the risk of siding with Gigatron and hope that he's strong enough to fight the army off and stop his ex-advisor. Also, Gigatron is pissed to learn this betrayal, and he turns into like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster for a page.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there. All right. So when I read when I started reading this, and we were introduced to Gigatron, I was like curious, like, what the fuck does this amalgam clusterfuck turn into? Like, I generally like that was the mystery. When I saw that this fucking man turned into a fucking two-headed dragon that breathes fire, I was like, what in the goddamn Beast Wars bullshit is this?
You want to know something even worse?
What?
Again, I looked at his wiki page. Apparently, this motherfucker has 6 alt forms.
Why?
You only see this one, but like, you gotta sell those toys somehow, I guess.
Is he coming back in the series at all?
Dude, it's 4 issues. You read all of it.
Okay, then no. Tell me what are the other stuff he turned into then?
You don't see it in this. That's just what the wiki said.
That's so stupid. Okay, all right. I'm mad now. Continue.
All right. So Drift explains his brilliant plan of them walking back into the temple and beating the shit out of Hellbat. And with everyone on the same page, we end issue 3. So yeah,
it's good. Not one thing I forgot to mention, like for issue 1 is just the fact that this entire arc that Drift is going on basically is him trying to figure out his place in the world. Because if you haven't noticed from the art that Rebecca's been showing off, He doesn't have his Autobot symbol anymore, just because he doesn't really identify as an Autobot as much.
Well,
as he
if you
identify
remember too, back all the way in More Than Meets the Eye, he got kicked out of the Autobots.
Yeah, he got exiled. Yeah, so but yeah, it's really cool. Like the fact, like he's just going on this kind of like identity, like self-discovery type of journey with like all this shit happening. So yeah, I just wanted to just address that. This issue was obviously like I think it was my favorite just because there's a lot of great action in it, a lot of really fun moments. I love the fact that like the way the book starts is a flash forward of them getting their ass beat and Ratchet being like, "Drift, this is all your fault. Hope you know that." Like I think it's just out of context. It's like out of nowhere, and then the whole issue is just what happened to make Ratchet say all of that. I think it's really fun. Freaking Grit. Grit. What's it called? As a character so far is just really fun. And I love the fact that like he just doesn't care. He's just trying to go after Hellbat. And then he gets his ass beat by Vanquish, who looks like a basic ass transformer in my opinion.
Was that his name? I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, because he's very they're trying to make him seem like he's like a threat, but like he just looks very insignificant to me. So that's why I'm just like, yeah. But his name's Vanquish, aka Hellbat's bottom bitch.
Yeah,
but
we'll point him out when we get a panel event. Oh, he's this guy.
Yeah, that guy right there. Yeah, and then like the whole Prince of Persia parkour scene is so well done. I love that scene a lot. And just the teamwork that Ratchet and Drift have, I think is really well done, and you can feel kind of like the partnership there with them. The scene with the Stone Warriors like assaulting them all, I think is really what's his name? Guido draws the hell out of this book. It's very well done in terms of like how much has in terms of like how much shit he's putting on the page, and it's awesome. It's so fun.
Again, he kills the action scenes in this. They feel very well paced. And
pacing
like
in this book is
the
phenomenal.
impact of it, especially in this issue.
Like this is what I like. We've read how many issues of More Than Meets the Eye, and the action has not been as good as it has been in this. Which is not like I'm saying that's not really like a knock. It's just like a personal critique.
But it's also not trying to be like as actiony as this is. You know,
More
Than Meets the Eye doesn't have fight sequences like this.
Yeah, More Than Meets the Eye is more like slice of life, which makes sense. This is more like action, or this is more like action adventure, which I think I fuck with.
This is like going to see like a 1.5 hour movie, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Listen, Hasbro and fucking who owns Paramount, Drift solo film, do it now. I want it. But I do love that the end we're just like, okay, yeah, so we're overrun with these stone monsters and like Hellbat's kind of out of control. Hey, Gigatron, your boy betrayed you for his own ends. He didn't really actually give a fuck about your goals at all. He just joined just to have his own goals met. So you want to like team up? And like I love how that it just ends that way. It's like, yeah, let's just team up. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, we got to end this book somehow.
Exactly.
So speaking of which, I think that's a good transition to our final issue. Don't really have too much to say about the cover. Again, everyone's just
standing there. That's a critique I have. Yeah, make the colors, even though the covers are really well done, make them a little more creative. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
This is like the fucking meme where it's like, damn, you got the whole squad.
Yeah, when the whole squad pulls up.
All right. So, continuing from last issue, our trio plus Gigatron storm the temple, taking on the Stone Army headfirst. Unfortunately, Gigatron pretty much immediately gives up on being a team player, going after Hellbat as soon as he's in sight. However, Hellbat then summons a really big stone soldier to fight him one-on-one.
I love the fucking Gigatron's like, yo, fuck the rest of y'all. I'm good. I'm after this
Found the army. I don't need you bitches anymore. All right, so Drift tries to get in a shot at Hellbat while he's distracted, only to be blocked by one of his goons, who I now know is Vanquish. Thank you, Mikey.
You're welcome.
But Grit jumps in to keep him occupied while Drift saves the day. In a slightly confusing action sequence, Drift reminds Gigatron that if Hellbat wins, they both lose, and gets Gigatron to launch him towards Hellbat.
Dude, pulls a fastball special. Freaking Drift isn't only the Snake Eyes of the Transformers universe. He's also the Wolverine too. I love it.
Yeah. So Hellbat's goon notices this and prepares to pursue Drift, but not before stabbing Grit through his torso. However, before the goon can get away, Grit grabs him and rips his head clean off before passing out from his injuries.
Bro, Grit goes out like a fucking G. That's why and then he said it again where it's like, again, I don't make this, like when he gets stabbed, he's like, oh, you fool. And it's like, again, I don't make the smart decision, and just rips his head clean off. I was like, bro, that's hard. Like, that is so hard. And I was like, you know what? Grit is a dope character in my book. I love Grit in this miniseries.
Yeah. No thoughts, head empty, but goddamn is he trying.
Yeah.
I also love this panel of him like screaming as he's ripping his head off. I know you were joking back in Dark Cybertron about the Wilhelm scream, but I think we need the Wilhelm scream here. All right. So suddenly things are not looking so good for Drift and his allies, with Hellbat telling Drift that either Drift kills him or he'll kill Drift. Drift responds while fighting, saying that while he may never be a full hero, change is possible and death isn't the only way to deal with your enemies. Because I don't think I mentioned it yet, but Drift is on a no-killing kind of thing right now.
He's on a path to redemption by not taking any lives. Respect.
Yeah. So then we see Gigatron defeat the big soldier as his attention switches over to Drift. After a little more fighting, though, the two bads turn to each other to fight.
Okay, here's the thing, right? This page with like Drift and like Gigatron like turning on Drift, it made me truly realize how fucking huge Gigatron is compared to everybody else.
Dude, this panel with Drift fighting Gigatron goes hard.
It does. And it's just like it doesn't even need to, but it does. Give me my solo movie. God damn it.
All right, so Hellbat sicks his entire army on Gigatron, but not before Gigatron is able to slice him in half, destroying the equipment around the temple and in the process rigging it to blow up.
Dude, when this man was like, yo, it was like fucking Heath Ledger in Dark Knight, but like, hit me. I was like, bro, like, relax. And then he cuts it, and then and then Drift's like, no, please, we can kill. I was like, man, fuck you, bro. Just slices this man. I think this is one of the most brutal deaths outside of like this is not as brutal, but like it's close to like Trailbreaker being like mutilated or like Ratchet getting his head ripped off. It's like that. It's that was the money shot right there, and I respected it so much. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that because they can't have Drift killing this. They just turn the bad guys on each other. Exactly. But it like kind of fits thematically, I guess, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
All right, so as the temple collapses, Ratchet and Drift narrowly escape as the entire place explodes. Taking some time to reflect outside the rubble, Drift tells Ratchet that for a long time he felt like he hasn't belonged anywhere, only being good at killing for one side or the other, and because of that, he could understand some of Hellbat's nihilism. Ratchet tells him that's stupid before Drift follows, saying he now realizes that he can be much more than a killer. Ratchet asks Drift to come back to the Lost Light with him, if not as an Autobot, then as a friend. Aww. Finally, we end this issue with Drift's internal monologue explaining that it does... I cannot read what the fuck I wrote here. Explaining that it doesn't matter what he is, Autobot, Decepticon, whatever, only that he's here to make a difference, as we see Grit somehow survive this issue when he abandons his Decepticon badge. The end. So what are our thoughts on the Drift miniseries?
It's fucking great, and I love it. It's great. Nah, the Drift miniseries, I believe, is again it's short and it's short and sweet, very well written, and it's pretty well written in terms of like the character arcs people go like pretty much like almost every character, I guess, besides like the main characters go through a really cool arc. Each have their own cool arcs. Even Grit did what genuinely changed from the beginning, when we started him, like, you know, enslaving a planet, to now, like, you know, sacrificing his life for an Autobot or whatever. That was cool. Like I love that. The fact that, like, Drift is kind of on a path of self-discovery and, like, doesn't really know his place in the world. And then basically, like, him figuring out, you know, what he's meant to do in the universe, and also making, like, you know, accepting, like, you know, hey, like, maybe I can go back to my friend with, like, you know, Ratchet there. And, like, Ratchet is basically just, like, you know, his moral support throughout the entirety of this book, and also calling him out on his bullshit every chance he gets. Because Drift, even though Drift is cool, he can be pretty dumb sometimes and not make the sharpest decisions. I like that a lot. Also, I kind of just made a comparison. Drift is I said he's the Snake Eyes of this universe, but then I thought about it for a second, because I'm like, this man is going on a path of, like, self-discovery and, like, redemption after his past deeds. He doesn't kill anyone, even though he has swords. I'm like, this man is the fucking Rurouni Kenshin of Transformers. Like, whoever doesn't watch Rurouni Kenshin, which is a really dope anime, and, like, has a series of live action films that you can watch on Netflix. Because I was literally watching it this morning while I was at work today. Like, it's basically just a samurai who is, like, one of the most skilled badass samurais ever, and has killed a bunch of people in the name of war. But then, you know, when the war is over, he's like, I'm gonna go on a path of, like, redemption for, like, all my past sins, and he rocks a sword called a reverse blade, where, like, it's more dulled. Like, the edge of the blade is basically flipped, so, like, when he hits people, like, it's more of a blunt hit instrument than, like, a sharp, like, razor sword that cuts people. So, like, yeah, like, the character's name is Kenshin, like Homura Kenshin, and literally, like, that's literally Drift in this book, bro. That's literally Drift. And I'm just like, that makes me love Drift 10 times more, because yeah, it's just like,
he's just an anime hero. He's a shonen protagonist.
Yeah, he's literally a shonen, like, anime, like, manga protagonist, and it's like, bruh, like, yeah, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, whoever created Drift was like, yo, like, I'm gonna just take the concept of, like, Rurouni Kenshin and make it a Transformer, and, like, and it works, because, you know. But yeah, no, I thought this issue was great. I love how it ends, though, with not just, like, you know, Drift. Again, is Drift coming back to, like, to the Lost Light? Please, like, I was like, it was like,
we'll see, but I'll spoil it and say yes.
Okay, because I was so happy to be like, hey, he's coming back. Yes, my boy. But also, like, the fact that, like, yeah, Grit also, like, is abandoned, like, doesn't really believe in the old Decepticon cause anymore, and changes. Does Grit come back? Like,
not to my knowledge.
Oh shit! Because, like, that'd be nice if, like, Grit joined the Lost Light. Let everyone just join the Lost Light. Who cares? But yeah, I mean, again, like, the plot in terms of, like, the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor stuff was I mean, it was pretty cliche and stuff, but I thought it was really fun the way they did it. I thought Hellbat was pretty just, like, cliche, you know, typical villain. I didn't really anything special.
A lot of the plots, and I would even say, like, Drift's arc to a certain extent, are very cliche, but, like, this book isn't trying to, like, do any, like, weird sci-fi shit like More Than Meets the Eye, you know? Like you said, it's simple, it knows what it is, it's just trying to be fun. And I mentioned to you off screen also, so I read this book like once a few weeks ago before we actually, like, said we were going to cover it, and then I read it again. I enjoyed it much more the second time. I feel like the second time I could appreciate, like, how fun it was, and all those, like, character interactions and the inherent, like, silliness of it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a fun series, and also Guido does a great job with the art. The art's so well done, and again, very manga. Like, even if this here, like, the way it's inked, like, that's like it's a very manga style, and, like, I mean, obviously it fits with Drift, because, you know, he's the shonen character of Transformers. So
he's a Gundam, basically.
Yeah. Moral of the story is Paramount. Give me my Drift solo movie right now. It can be done. It can be done. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I loved it. I loved it a lot.
All right, so if we're done with the Drift miniseries, then it's time to shift into holiday mode here. If I can remember what side my hairpin's on.
It's okay. Take your time. No worries. Oh,
You got to get in the spirit, Mikey. Happy holiday, everyone. It's holiday time.
What are you talking about?
Happy holiday, everyone. It's holiday time. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. We're totally not going to quit this in December and call it a new video.
Happy Leif Erikson Day, everyone.
Yeah, happy International Women's Day, which is the closest holiday we're actually.
I should have brought my one. I should have brought my onesie out. God damn, I forgot. Okay, all right. Well, it's Christmas now, apparently, even though it isn't.
Yeah, it's Christmas in March. I don't know. I can't push my camera far back to have the antlers in frame.
It's okay.
All right. So for this holiday special, for the purposes of our podcast, we are just covering the more than meets the eye section. However, I will slightly touch on the other two sections on this at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So for this section, as expected, it's written by James Roberts, and the art is by Koteri, that's like the pen name. The artist name is Ikumi Fukuda. I think I said that right, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it sounds about it.
So, hopping into it, we begin the short story with Rodimus coming back from meteor surfing to find Megatron and Magnus doing what looks like decorating a tree. Come to find out, the ship is about to pass through some robot racist territory, so the entire crew has to go into stasis temporarily, and the tree-looking device is a cloaking machine to hide everyone's energy signatures from being detected. Elsewhere on the ship, Whirl, Nautica, and Swerve have locked themselves into Swerve's bar and are all a bit tipsy, at least on illegal alcohol, when they hear knocking on a nearby door. Whirl goes to investigate, but while he doesn't find the source of the knocking, inside one of the boxes of booze, he finds what looks to be a baby. As you can imagine, this is a problem for many reasons, but the three decide that they need to send the baby back where it came from through some sort of portal. Unfortunately, the portal is kept in Magnus's locked office, but Nautica says she might be able to get them in using her wrench before proceeding to break the glass, letting them in. To make matters worse, the portal box is chained up, and the baby is starting to form a face, and the three can hear someone coming down the hall. Thinking he's alone, Magnus is belting Christmas carols as the trio stands suspiciously outside his office. Swerve makes up an excuse about them doing a security sweep, and Magnus tells them to get to their beds. However, as Magnus enters his office, Nautica lets loose that she panicked and hid the baby in his armor. Cut to Magnus's surprise as his armor appears to come to life. Panicking again, Nautica hits him over the head with her wrench, hitting him so hard that his mustache comes flying off.
Bro, unnecessary.
I love the art, the cartoony art for this. The exaggerated emotions are so fun.
Yeah.
So Swerve goes to take Magnus off to his bed, while Nautica and Whirl have to track down the now missing baby in a suit of armor. Over with Megatron, the Arbor tries to hug him and leaves him traumatized as the two find him and drag the thing away. Out of time, Whirl goes to throw the baby out of the airlock, but has feelings for once and realizes he can't do it as the baby starts to look like him. So he keeps it in his sleep pod with him, endangering everybody's lives. I should mention, they make a point in this that you can't have more than one body in each pod.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Whirl wakes up in the medbay to see everyone's alive, and he learns that the baby wasn't a real baby, but a bunch of shape-shifting parasites that were trying to kill him. However, instead of being upset, Whirl says he's proud of them, and that's the end of our holiday story. So what do we think of this short, sweet little bit of writing?
How many tabs of acid did James Roberts take over this story? Like, all of it was just a freaking parasite fever dream. That's so funny. Like, I don't know, it was hilarious. I'm gonna say this. I'm just like, when I saw like it was a baby, I was like, I don't like that. I don't like
don't think about it too hard. Don't worry about how it works. It doesn't matter.
I was thinking about I was thinking too hard. And I was wondering how it worked. That's why I was.
The moment you like even think about the words like getting sucked into a black hole, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, my head hurt. I was like, what is happening? But like, no, like the baby getting into the Ultra Magnus armor and like the Ultra. Like the page where Ultra Minimus is literally like about to get assaulted by this baby it's terrifying. It is so terrifying. Just like seeing.
You should never see Ultra Magnus smile. It's like against his character.
No, which is why on the cover he has a straight face, because that's how he's supposed to be. Yeah, no, I thought this issue was, I thought this section at least was really fun. The Minimus singing and singing Christmas carols while like everyone is just watching him. I think it's so funny. Yeah, no, I mean, this section's fun, but like this the baby thing just weirded me out. I was like, I don't like that there's a baby in Transformers.
Yeah,
the
so baby's just a plot device. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But again, I love Whirl. I will appreciate Whirl in anything. So I will appreciate the Deadpool of Transformers in anything. So I like that it was more focused on him, I guess.
Yeah. Like I said, short, sweet, little fluffy story. I like the art in this. I think it goes really well with
it's good
tone. Though I do think at sometimes it can be a little like too cartoony and some of the characters look a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a fun little story. I don't really have anything to say about it.
Okay. All right, yeah, no, I don't have much to say about it either. It's fun and it's quaint, and yeah, I don't want to see Ultra Magnus smile anymore. Please, I'm good.
Yeah. So now there's two other shorts in here as well. One where
the Starscream one had me rolling.
It's so funny. But so basically, I'm not gonna read it. I was just gonna like read the whole story in like 5 minutes, but I was like, that's too much work, and
yeah,
I might not have this one legally. I can't confirm or deny, but
what do you mean? On the Indie Corner, we always have our books and our pages done legally. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But this one's basically the Grinch, but where Starscream accidentally invents Valentine's Day, or like the Transformers equivalent of it. And it's real cute.
So funny.
And the other short story in here is Thundercracker solving a murder mystery for Christmas. And it turns out all to be like a children's story he wrote. And it's also really cute. But yeah, the stories in this are just fluffy little feel-good stories. And that's about it. So that's the holiday special, people. Yeah. Do we have any final thoughts, Mikey?
Do you have any final thoughts? Okay, now I'll cue the Linkin Park. No, just real quick. No, the Starscream one was my favorite one out of them all, though. I it was so funny. It's literally just like the Grinch, but with Transformers and written by a non-racist person. It is. I thought it was a lot of fun, and just that art style is very adorable. And like that, when they do the grit, like the famous Grinch grin with Starscream, it is.
It's so good. The art in this section is so much fun. I don't know if you have that panel, Mikey. I do not. I
don't have it either. But I'll if I make a clip or something, I'll probably drop it in there. Yeah. But yeah, overall, this was fun. It was fun, small, quaint, short and sweet. The Drift Mini is so good, and I really want James Roberts to take notes on like how to write better and how to pace better, because his shit has even like, again, listen, I love More Than You Guys has been a lot of fun. Too many damn words, and the pacing is all over the place. Like I thought the Drift series was a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. And yeah, no, I'm happy to see that my boy's coming back as he should be. Even though I would love more the spin-offs of just Drift and Ratchet together, because I love that buddy cop, Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour relationship. I think it's so fun.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you can't get your hopes up for that. We only have 2 volumes of More Than Meets the Eye left, so let me pull that up. So 2 weeks from now, we are covering volume 9 out of 10, and that covers issues 45 through 49, streaming Monday, March 20th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Remember, when I say 8 p.m., that usually means we're going to start like half an hour later than whatever I put on the slide.
Yeah, we run on CPT time on this channel. It's only 2. Wow. Honestly, that kind of went by pretty fast. I thought we'd like at least have 3 more episodes left. But wow, we're almost done. Okay. Wow. So yeah, that's hopefully the second to last episode is a good one. I'm excited. Yeah. So I guess that's it. I don't have anything else to say.
This is the part where you plug all the stuff we've done.
That is right. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So everyone, just thank for everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Yeah, this one's a little bit of a shorter one, just because there wasn't really much to cover. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. So yeah, people. So now the plugs. What I have to plug? Oh yeah. So today, earlier today, I dropped a reaction to video I did for the Flash trailer with Seamus and Chris. Very late, but like I wanted to edit this one, and it took a lot of time and a lot of headbanging to like edit. So that's why
it's got a decent amount of views already. So I guess
it's getting a lot of traffic for only being out a day. So I'm like very impressed by it. So check out that video if you get a chance. Again, check out our Sanford Green interview, as well as the clip that I dropped for it. Again, want to get some really insightful like artist knowledge and want to know what it's like to be an artist in the industry. Sanford Green definitely is that. Check out their interview. What the fuck else? There's too much stuff, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of shit. Just watch all of our shit. It's all on the channel. It's all up there for you. Also, I want to just quickly plug and say like congrats to Pornsock Pinter Show, who was our first interview. He his book The Good Asian just got picked up for a series, and I'm so excited for it because The Good Asian is a phenomenal book, and he deserves it. So I wanted to give him a little shout out there. Also be on the lookout for Rebecca's Dead Space videos, people, because they're hilarious, and it's her not being good at video games, even though she does a bang up job throughout the walkthrough, and it's very fun. So check that out. And again, yeah, check out all the various clips and all this other stuff that we've done. We really appreciate it. Also click the notification bell so you know when you get updated on when we drop a video. And as always, people, thanks again. We appreciate the support. We love you. And as always, peace out. Get home safe. We'll see you all next time. All right. Later.